Hey friends, I don't know if I will ever post this at all, but I thought that I would share. Apparently, the dogs want to join in. I thought that I would share a little with you. So, by the time I post this, if I ever post it, Zachary will be home. I would never share this while he's away. But right now, Zachary is away for a week. So that means that all of the normal day to day life things of taking care of the animals outside, taking care of the dogs, all of the chores of maintaining our coal furnace and changing out ashes and loading up coal and taking out the trash and all of the things that he does that sometimes go unnoticed are now my responsibility. Making sure the animals outside have water and feed and collecting the eggs and doing all of the things that he does, I now will be doing for the next week. Zachary had to fly across the country to family that lives in Arizona, our family, his parents, spending some time out there, an unexpected trip. So I will be holding down the fort here, and there's always a lot going on. So right now it is February 24th. I had to look at my calendar here. It's February 24th, and you saw us celebrate his birthday on the 22nd. And first thing in the morning on the 23rd, he flew out of state. So a lot has been going on. Yesterday was a day of travel for him and a day of kind of talking myself into the next week. But I have a lot that I want to do while he is gone. So of course I want to like tidy up and have things look good for when he comes home. I think that's a normal kind of thing. But I feel like I have given myself more things to do while he's gone to kind of stay busy. We don't often spend any time apart from each other. That's just not how we roll. I think I was hospitalized a few times in the past few years, but beyond that, we've never spent time apart since we've been together. So it's different, especially for me to be home and him to be somewhere else. So, of course, I miss him already. But I thought that I would bring you along again if I decide to actually share this with the world. But I have a lot to do. And like I said, there's a lot that I want to get done as well. I, of course, gave myself more things to do because that's how I roll. I saw peppers that were marked down on clearance. So I thought about making some sweet pepper spread while he's away. And also, I saw a bunch of carrots that were marked down as well. So I was going to make some more of my maple carrots. So, two canning projects there alone. I have so many cranberries in the freezer right now. So I was thinking about making some cranberry juice. And I just haven't gotten around to do it. So I think we're just going to like hold down the fort and kind of like bunker down in and stay home. The girls are home with me this weekend as well. Angelina is recovering well from her surgery. I appreciate all of your thoughts and prayers for her, and any good thoughts and prayers that you can send our way to our family. We appreciate those. Just a lot to do and a lot going on. And of course, there's work and all of that in between. So we're going to work our way through this. Zachary very anxiously left town and left us here with all of the dogs. I don't think he's ever left the dogs for any moment. And right now, our oldest Hunter boy is staring at me like, "Where's Dad?" So we're going to do this, and I am going to bring you along for the ride. The animals outside are all good today. I don't necessarily have to go out beyond to check for eggs, but tomorrow I will. And I'm thankful it's not today because it's really cold here today compared to how it was yesterday. But meals are going to be a little different. This weekend, we're going to keep it kind of light. The girls have been wanting some real like salads after we've indulged so much this week. So we're going to be doing some lighter fare and going to be working on some projects with the girls and just some different things around. So I hope you join me, and we will get through this. And before we know it, Zachary will be home. So I thank you guys for watching, and we'll see what the week brings.
All right, guys, it is like 30 degrees out here, and I hate the cold. So normally this would be Zachary's job. Now look at this. We had dirt delivered a few days ago. He has it fenced off so the dogs can't get to it. It's mushroom soil, and I don't know. I don't know anything official, but probably not good if they eat it. And they're jerks, so they would eat it. And then he just fenced in, don't mind, the mess back there because homesteading life. Just fenced in the garden officially with a real gate. Look at this. So the dogs can't come in here and get into things they're not supposed to be in. But we are doing farm chores. I'm going to have to see if I can link this bad boy here for you too. I love this little seat. It's a little frozen right now. I love this little seat that I can use when in the summertime to harvest tomatoes or anything. And it has a little tray underneath, and then we put on a little handle so I could pull it. But there's the ducks. Hey, duck. Hey, duck. And I am heading down past, it's our compost area over there, and our raised beds. You all saw Zachary plant the garlic, and here's our chickens. So it's time for me to collect eggs. I haven't had to do this in a really long time. Zachary normally handles this. And there's River. Hey, buddy. So let's collect the eggs, see how this goes. Hey, ladies. Hello. Whew. Hi. Hey, chickies. Hey, chickies. Come on. Woo. All right. Let's do this one-handed. It's winter, but there are chickens roosting. Some in the corner there. There's Zachary's feeder. This feeder has been working so good. I will not have to add any feed the whole time that he's gone. But today with it getting so cold, I was worried that the eggs would freeze, and they are dirty, but we collected them. Eggie? Oh, yum. Hey, duckies. Hey, duck. Hello. Hey, babies. Ducky. Hey, ducky, you're the one. Good ducky. I think you hungry, huh? Duck. The birdies. It's water time. And it's cold out. Here I go. So it's Saturday, and it is Friday? Full day 3 of Zachary not home. And I have shoveled coal today and taken ashes out, collected eggs, and now it's time to water the alien pterodactyls. Let's see. Well, yeah, so that last clip that I showed you, that's when I realized that the hose was frozen. And even though Zachary prepared for while he was gone and hooked up this thing to empty the water from the hose with our air compressor, which works geniusly, somehow we ended up with water in the hose and froze. And waters without, oh, your waters, I'm cold. Animals without water and without feed are dead animals. So that's just, it's not an option. So I was able to determine that the frozen section was, big shocker, all the way at the bottom because water rolls downhill, right? So I was able to disconnect at a higher point, which still meant that I needed to truck water down using a big jug, but it was much better than having to fill it in the house and truck it down. But so often everyone talks about the romanticizing of homesteading, but sometimes this is the reality. I am soaked, even though I have layers. I am cold. It is 30-some degrees out. I'm out of breath. Jesus, I'm out of shape. And normally, even though I curse Zachary 5 ways to Sunday, he's the one that normally deals with this. So, ladies, if you ain't willing to go freezing, soaking in 30-degree weather, and you live in the north, don't homestead. But we persevere. We do not allow failure, and we keep going. So I just flushed the hose out with the water, which I will be sure to show you how that works because that worked great. Apparently, when it was done the last time, just not enough air went through to get all of the water out. But this time, I made sure that it's completely clear. The chickens, the alien pterodactyls, they have their water, they have their feed, eggs were collected. The ducks are good, they have their water and their feed, and I'm soaked. So I'm going to go warm up before going on to my next project of the day, which will be canning. So it will be much warmer. But I figured I should share this all with you because if you are a homesteader, you've experienced moments like this where you're freezing, and God only knows what I look like. I'm sure this is the most fashionable look that you'll ever see me in. Probably not, but we're overcoming. So on to canning. Hey guys, so it is now Saturday afternoon. I got a little distracted and didn't get to my canning projects yet, but the girls are going to be having sleepover tonight, so I decided I was going to whip up some tacos, nachos for them to have, my white girl tacos. Nothing extravagant, but I figured I would start that and then actually dive into canning. So I have on my list today to do is sweet pepper relish, which is from the NCHFP, National Center for Home Food Preservation, right on their website. And then I am using a recipe. Let me grab the recipe. My inspiration recipe for the brown sugar glazed carrots is from Constance Smith over at a Good Life Farm, or I think she's actually Cosmopolitan Cornbread. But this is what I've used before. This here is just my like battle book of recipes that I've printed and saved and done, made many times, things I want to try. So this is the inspiration for that. And then, like I said, we're going to be doing tacos. So we'll be in the kitchen for most of the day today. I'll keep you here with me and see what we get done. So first thing is to grab everything out, make a big mess, and start cooking. And actually, all right, well, this is what a busy working kitchen looks like. Lots of projects going on, lots of piles of things to be processed, beef for tonight and tomorrow, cooking away, and doing all of it at one time, pretty much. So I have our jars, And I'm not positive how many jars this is actually going to make, but I brought a dozen up. You see, I'm just feeling the rims to make sure that there's no imperfections, any cracks, any reason why I shouldn't can with it. And like this one I just found, let's see if I can show you this. Do you see that? And that's a reason why I wouldn't can with it. Now the rim feels perfectly smooth, but there is this, oh, there you go, you can see it a little bit of there. Some kind of like bubble in the glass imperfection. So this jar is going to get pulled out of my processing and put to like dry goods storage. All right, we're going to start with 9 and see if that ends up, if we end up needing more. But basically, this recipe calls for carrots, brown sugar, water, and orange juice. I'll be sure to link it in the description. But our local grocery store had carrot chips on markdown, as well as baby carrots on markdown. So this took all of the work out of me having to cut, peel, all of that. I am just going to fill the jars, put the brine in, and then this gets processed in a pressure canner. So I will have my family's favorite way to have carrots on the shelf, ready to go. I have done a variation of this in the past with just pint jars, and I found that that wasn't enough for us. So we are moving up to quarts. All right, so I came to the realization that I have what, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jars of carrots, which means I still have room in my 2 canners if I do a double batch, run them both at the same time, for 4 more. And I don't want to do a 2 batch in one, because why would I do a full batch and then only have 3 jars? I don't like canning like that. So I figured, what do I have on hand that I could can that I will thank myself for in the future? So I have sweet potatoes. So I am going to can up 4 jars of sweet potatoes. Now I haven't canned sweet potatoes before, but I am going to can them along the same lines of the brown sugar glazed carrots, but with sweet potato. I think that sounds good. And I'm going to do 4 jars if I have enough potato for what I have on hand. And then we will do 2 full canners. And that, in my mind, makes a lot more sense to me than doing either 2 runs, because pressure canning takes a while, or just running 2 and not having it full. I prefer to work more efficiently. So this is how I am doing that. I have heard of people canning water when they have, extra space like this. And that's a great idea too. This is what I prefer to have something on my shelf that my future self will thank me for. So we're just doing a 1-inch headspace on these. And then they have to, no, Hunter, I dropped a sweet potato piece and the doggy wants it. I lost my train of thought. Woohoo, derailed there. Okay, so yeah, oh, there we go. 1-inch headspace. And then we will fill it with our liquid, debubble it, and get it in the canner. This is like a combination of a hot and a raw pack, because typically when you're hot packing, everything's hot, and when you're raw packing, everything's cool. But this is a little bit of a combination because we're putting hot liquids in, so our canner will be warm. It won't be fully cold, and it won't be roaring boiling. All right, so I definitely have another sweet potato. I'm going to chop these up. I'll bring you back when it's time to put the liquid in. All right, so this is about the time of day where I feel like I need another cup of coffee, especially when there's lots of processing going on. So obviously my sugar here needs a refill, but we're going to use up what's in it first. We're using brown sugar. And like I told you all, I used a recipe for inspiration to this. I'm not following it to the T, so I'll explain to you what I'm doing differently. The recipe calls for creating a syrup, a hot syrup, and pouring it over. I am not actually making a syrup. I am going to put in here the sugar, and then I'm going to put hot liquid over that. So I'm just doing a little under a 1/4 cup of brown sugar to each quart. See if I can get through this without having to go refill this midway. I have water that is getting up to boiling on the stove, and then that will get poured over these. I can hear my water starting to boil. I find that doing this instead of doing a true syrup makes it easier. It's not as sticky. It's much easier to just boil some water and put all of your ingredients in a jar like this than it is to pour over syrup. So that looks good. I'm just going back to a few of these where it looks a little low. Okay, so that is that. And then each of these I am going to also do roughly a 1/4 cup of orange juice. Now obviously this is not a liquid measuring cup, but that's what it is. All right, we're trucking along here. And I'm also going to put into each of these some seasoning. I am using my Kickin' Maple Honey. It has obviously a maple honey flavor, and then it has a little bit of a spice to it. So that's what I tried the carrots that we have downstairs with, and that is what I am going to put in. Now I am running very low, so I don't know if the sweet potatoes will have the same seasoning or not. I'm going to do those last. If not, I do have a sweet and smoky barbecue blend here that I will, ooh, I'm pushing my luck there, that I will use for the sweet potatoes. Okay. All right, considering how much I have left here, we're looking pretty sparse. I am going to do a half of a tablespoon in each of these. This smells so good. This seasoning blend is from a country store that we went to when we were camping. It was we always camp at state parks typically, especially in Pennsylvania. And the one that we were at, there wasn't a whole lot to do as far as like touristy kind of thing and shopping in the area. But as we were leaving, we saw a country store, and we can't pass up going to a country store. And they had this delicious seasoning, and I want to go back there just to get more. Okay, so 2 of these are going to have our sweet and smoky barbecue blend. We'll see if I can, you know what? I am just going to, this one, put an X on the lid when I process, so we know which is which. Gonna clean up my disaster zone here quick, and then we will fill these with water and get our canners on and heat it up. All right, I'm just setting up here to get these. I have the canners on the stove ready to go. We need some vinegar to wipe our rims of our jars, and I always just pour a little bit in a glass ramekin, and I end up then dumping that into the canner, in fact. Debubbler. I boiled water, just took it off to put my canners on, and now we're just gonna dip this in. I need a bigger ladle. That'll drive me nuts. I'm not going to make you sit there through all of this, but I'm going to show you one of exactly what I do. So we are here, and there are bubbles coming up as I'm turning this, but the proper way is to go along your edges, release bubbles, keeping your, in this case, carrots under the water and touching, and we're just at 1 inch headspace. So this is one. What I do is I go around the rim with my vinegar, take one lid, and this is a great hack, just having a paper towel holder with your rings on it. Tighten that, and then this is ready to go in the jar, or in the jar. The jar is ready to go in the canner to be processed. And move on to our next project. All right, they're in the canners, ready to process. Don't mind all of the dishes that now need to be washed, but dinner is in the crock pot. Wow, my finger looks really big. Dinner is in the crock pot. They're getting ready to process. I need to have them vent steam for 10 minutes, and then we will put the jiggler, the weight on, and we will process them from there. So it's time to clean up this disaster and get everyone fed. And I'll move on to the next project. Do y'all see that time? So I got everyone fed dinner. This canner finished processing. It only needs to process for 30 minutes. And this one, because I was processing the sweet potatoes in there as well, needs to process for 90 minutes. So this the timer just went off. So this is just finished. So I decided that my other canning project is waiting until tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day. So soon enough, it'll be time to take the lids off and pull the jars. And that's a wrap for the night. See you tomorrow. Hey everyone, today is Sunday and the sun is shining. It is 50 degrees out and I am ready to conquer the hose and reconnect and flush the hose, fill all the waters, make sure the feed's good, collect all the eggs, and then tomorrow the temperature is going to drop again. So, welcome to Pennsylvania. But we're doing it, we're making it. I didn't shovel coal today, but that is on the list to do. Took out all the trash as usual. With a family of 6, it accumulates pretty quickly, even though we try to waste as little as possible. And of course, all of the chickens and the ducks need tending, the dogs need feeding, all the day-to-day. Got everyone fed, all the humans fed, and now it's time to get all the animals fed. So let's collect some eggs. Scooty, scooty. Eggy, eggies. Eggy, eggy, eggies. Say hi, chicky chickies. Chicky chickies. Walk, walk. Are you all coming to visit me, huh? All right, well, let's move on to the next task. Water. Are we? Kiwi. Oh. Batty climbing through the gate. Nothing but bad. All right, so here is where we disconnected the hose. And as you can see, it goes all the way down there yet, so a full section. But that was all frozen yesterday. So today, I'm going to reconnect this and flush the whole thing out with air and then put the water on. And then we'll flush it again when it's time to turn it off. All right, so this is in a really tight space, as you can see, but this is what Zachary designed. It's a quick connect. I lift this up, pull this down, quick connect fitting. Now this is his wood pile. So attaches to this, which he designed all of this as well. So we have our air compressor on the back here. I'm going to connect these, and then this connects to the air compressor hose. And it'll turn on instantly and flush the hose. Let's do it. So anyone else just have like a serious bucket problem and zero regrets, zero shame? Because anywhere I go that I can get a bucket, especially free or cheap, it's hey guys, today is Monday. It is like 3:30 in the afternoon right now, and it smells like snow. You can feel it in the air. We're forecasted, I think, for I want to say 6 inches where we are, and most of the schools are closing already. The temperatures are dropping, and I am running out real quick to get eggs. So it's been a long day. I've been up and on the go. Realistically, I did not sleep last night. I'm terrified of oversleeping and missing a commitment, so I like halfway closed my eyes. But here we are. Gotta grab eggs real quick so they don't freeze. And thankfully, I do not have to mess with the hose or do any feeding today since we are all set up to see the hose, the guilty hose. I did get that all sorted out. The air system that Zachary has set up works fabulously. I just had to figure it out. It was all my user error. But it is now good. Just going to collect the eggs, and my farm chores are done essentially for the day, except I now have to go haul ashes up from our basement and out to the front so they can collect the ashes, which is a whole other story. But let's get some eggs. Just look at those pretty eggs. And the chickies. Chickies. So we have collected the eggs, made sure the chickens and the ducks have food and water, and now we are off to the coal. So if you are unfamiliar with coal furnaces, um, we do have like a self-feeding coal furnace. So it feeds from a 50-gallon barrel, the coal into the furnace, and then you have to empty the ashes, which is a huge metal tub that you empty out. And then where we live, that is collected. Just making sure the gate's closed. And it's a pain in the neck to carry them out. They're heavy. Usually Zachary and I do it together. So see if I can do it. But either way, it's got to get done. This dinosaur is what a coal furnace looks like. Big and noisy and dusty. And this dungeon is what a coal room looks like. So coal feeds through that tube to the coal furnace. And you have to make sure that your bucket is full. And we're looking good. And this massive thing, I mean, look at the size of my hand. So this is what an ash bucket is. So this probably weighs at least 50 pounds, I would say. And this has to get hauled up and out. So that's what I'm here to do. You saw our adventure to get the cattle panels. And then this area here is what I call the secret garden. And while it looks like nothing right now, this area brings me so much joy, and Zachary has put so much love into this. So just thought I'd show you since I had to dig out this beast to carry the ashes. Not sure if that was perfect timing or horrible timing, but you can see here it is now sleeting. So I just finished. Time to go back in the house. Yeah. Now all of that hard work means that we get to stay nice and warm and toasty because that fire is roaring in there. And the winter weather is roaring too. I hope this comes through on the camera. Let's see, can you see it on my hand? Oh, you can see it on my sweatshirt. Look at that's sleet. And it's just beginning. It's only 4 o'clock. And this is supposed to go until like 10 tomorrow, ice and snow. But we're batten down the hatches. I think that's the saying. And doggies, doggies are out on the stroll. We got River and Hunter Boy. Before it really kicks off, take them out and get them all tucked in too. That's River down there, and that's Hunter over here. And Hunter, he's our wild doggy. He would love to stay out in the weather. He was a runner as a young pup, and he has mellowed in his old age, and he's pretty much deaf at this point. But he does not mind. He knows when the snacks are around. And there comes River! Crazy River! Crazy doggies! Crazy doggies! Here we go!
Well, good morning, guys. It is, I have to think of my days. It is Tuesday. Last night's snowstorm was a bust, so there is still school today. The girls had a delay, but now I need to check the coal, one of Zachary's normal responsibilities, and boy, oh boy, do I miss him and have so much more of an appreciation of all of the thankless tasks that he does every day. So let's check the coal. Fire is still blazing, so that's a good sign. And we didn't go through a ton. We don't keep our house overly warm, so that is also good. And ashes should be being picked up shortly, and I'm sure I will need to change our ash bucket out again today. So on to breakfast.
Hey guys, so it is Tuesday night. I have dinner in the oven, and I still have not completed my canning project since Saturday. And Saturday, Sunday, I don't know. I haven't completed my canning project. This week of Zachary being away has brought a lot of new challenges and things that I needed to worry about that I don't normally need to worry about, and just a lot more on my plate. Plus, my job this week has taken me away earlier and longer than normal, which is just like the perfect storm. Plus, then we had storm preparation since we were expecting a storm last night, which petered out. We didn't really get a storm. It turned to rain, so it wasn't much snow. And yeah, I'm just making lots of excuses of why I haven't gotten my canning done. So I do still intend to try tonight, keyword, to get my sweet pepper relish done. My sweet peppers have been kept cold all of this time, but I know that they're starting to get to the point where either I need to do something with them or they're going to go bad. And I don't want that to happen. So I am going to work on getting my peppers diced up for the recipe, see how much I end up having. And then from there, we are going to see if we can get this canned before Zachary comes home tomorrow. So let's do it. All right, I washed the peppers. I did have a few losses. I lost 4 peppers. So it happens. I try to be pretty good, but we all need to give ourselves some grace sometimes. So I am going to get these chopped up. And like I said, we're going to see how many cups of peppers we have. Let's see if I have my recipe handy. I probably already lost that and have to print a new one. All right, let me share with you all a money saving kind of tip here. If you're just getting started canning and you want a source of trusted, tested recipes, you can print directly from online from the USDA, the Complete Guide to Home Canning. Doesn't cost you anything to download it. You could even just look it up on your phone or on the computer and write it down if you don't have a computer. Or yeah, if you don't have a computer. It's late already if you don't have a printer. So this is where I get my recipe for my sweet pepper relish. It is the very first thing I ever canned, and I was a nervous Nelly when I did it. So let's see if I can find it in here. pickled pepper onion relish. So calls for so many cups of pepper, so many cups of onions, sugar, vinegar, and salt. So here's what we're gonna do tonight. So I need to see how many cups of diced peppers I have. All right, so it ends up we have about 22 cups of diced peppers. So I need to pause to get everyone fed dinner, and then I am gonna start dicing the onion, but it'll just be a second in your time, but it'll probably be a good hour on my side. So I will bring you right back. All right, so I used up every single onion that I have in the house and the peppers. So this is a triple batch of the recipe, which is around what I was guessing it would be. I need to put in here 3, 4, 5 cups of sugar, and then, whoa mama, 18 cups of vinegar. Let's do it. All right, we have 2 cups in. Started and I forgot to record. So there's 3, 4, 5. Dogs are having a playtime. Then we have 2 cups of vinegar plus 1 whole gallon of vinegar is how much we need. And then we have to boil this until it reduces by half. All right, so I'm going to accept that I need to pause here. I have all my sugar, all my vinegar, everything is in here. That needs to be. I don't have to worry about this going bad overnight. I'm going to keep it cold and finish this up tomorrow because it is already 10 o'clock and I know that I work full time and I have an early morning meeting tomorrow. So there's that. Also, I have saved all of my onion peels, except that one, that look good and clean, not dirty, not dingy, just look good. Plus any of the end pieces. I'm going to make onion broth from this, which I've done in the past and is super good. So this needs to be kept cold overnight as well. And this will be a project for tomorrow. So that's the end of the night, guys. Tomorrow is Wednesday and Zachary comes home. So we'll see you then. Hey guys, so here we are. It's Wednesday. I was on the road again today for work. So as soon as I got home, I put the pot on the stove while I was finishing up my duties for the day. And this has now been bubbling away to reduce, I would say, for about an hour. I didn't have it massively full boil. I just had it kind of light boil, and that way it didn't burn and I could work. So it has reduced now. I have what is normally my pressure canner that we are going to do our canning in today. And I'm just going to move this over to the stove here. So you can absolutely water bath can in your pressure canner. You just wouldn't seal your pressure lock. So I'm just using a regular lid that we'll put on top. And we are just doing these cute little, what are these? Are 3/4 of a pint jars for this canning project. I thought they were adorable with a little quilted, and this was a special sale that I had found at Ollie's, which I don't know if it's just a Pennsylvania store or not, but they were having cases of these ball 3/4 of a pint jars on sale for $6.99. So I picked up a few of these, and I thought this would be perfect for the beautiful sweet pepper relish. So we are going to get these canned up. Oop, making noise here. We're going to get these canned up, and I'm going to bring you along with me for that. So I just want to show you quick what the, and don't mind the mess because obviously I was working and I have dishes that need to be done. But this is real life. Whew, that is steamy. So this is what we are looking like. How beautiful. And as it is canned, this is going to reduce some more. Now I am going to link, I told you that the recipe for this was from the USDA Complete Guide for Canning, but when I looked back, it was actually the NCHFP recipe that I had used in the past for this. So I am going to link both recipes in the description below, as long as I can find a link to both for you. So main difference is that NCHFP has the mustard seed in it, where the USDA one does not. That's the biggest difference. So I did include mustard seed in mine, and I also did not do any green peppers. I only did red, yellow, and orange peppers, and then the onions. So let's get this canned up. All right, so that quickly we filled our jars, and this calls for a 1/2 inch of headspace, which you can measure with your handy dandy little measuring tool. And as you see, I am just wiping my rims with my vinegar moistened paper towel. We're going to get the lids on, and we are going to get this in the canner for 10 minutes. Now, you only want to tighten your lids to fingertip tight, I believe is the term. You don't want to like crank it down. Don't put that extra work in. You need to allow room for the air to escape. And this only water baths for, like I said, 10 minutes, so it's a really short process. So as soon as I put these in, I'm going to start filling my next round of jars, because it will be a total of 15 minutes for the 10 minutes to process, and then you let it sit for 5 minutes before pulling them out. So I'm going to get these in. You want to make sure that your canner isn't actually at a boil. You want your water to be on the hot side to match your hot jars, but you don't want it to be at a full boil yet. Once you get your jars in, then you turn it up to a boil. Now this is the first time I am using the 3/4 pint size, so I am actually not positive how, sorry, my dogs are jerks. I'm actually not positive how many are going to fit in here. I might be able to do more than 12. We'll see. I already see that I do need to remove some liquid. 14 3/4 pints fit in my 16 quart Presto pressure canner. So we have the water up to the level that we need it to be, and we are going to wait until this comes to a full boil, and then we will set our timer for 10 minutes. All right, I'm hoping that you're all going to be able to hear this because my dogs are being jerks. So let's talk on an alternative. This is the same stock pot that we used to make the hot pepper or sweet pepper relish in. I rinsed it out, filled it back up with water. Now, say you can't afford to buy a whole canning setup. Get yourself a good stock pot that you can use to cook in and you can use to can in. And I'm really sorry the dogs are being jerks. I got this one at Walmart. It was in their markdown clearance aisle. It was all dented in on the one side. I can't even see it anymore. It was all dented in on the one side, and I took a hammer to it when I got home. Looks good as new. And I paid, I think, $10 for it. So, and it's a decent stock pot. So you have this, you need something on the bottom. You can't put your jars directly on the bottom because that can cause thermal shock. You can get yourself a little fancy smancy canning rack from Amazon like this. I haven't used this much because I do have other canning racks that I want to show you. This fits right in here, just like that. Sinks to the bottom, and you put your jars in on top of that. As long as it is tall enough for your jars to go in and have water above, you are good. So I'm impatient. I need to make dinner. I have other things that I need to do tonight. I want to get this canning finished. So I have my one pot over here of jars going, and I am putting another pot here, and this will be the total. So I ended up with 10 jars for this batch, and I had 14 jars for that batch. So I made a total of 24 3/4 pint jars. Just gonna get these in here. I'm going to adjust the water level if I need to, and we are going to process it again for 10 minutes. Okay, so we have our jars in. Turning our heat up. Once it's boiling, you set your timer. So neither of these are boiling yet. This one is close, and obviously this one I just put on here. So once they are boiling, 10 full minutes, then you cut the heat, you remove the lid, set the timer for 5 minutes. Once that time has passed, you pull your jars out and you let them cool. That's all. We have finished processing. Just took a break to work on getting dinner started, and of course, mom duties call. Got to do Bella's hair, so that calls for a pause. So we have here our 24 3/4 of a pint jars of our sweet pepper relish. They have processed now, and we are just pulling them out. And just show you here how it's dripping, but how beautiful they look. I know I shared with you all that this was the very first thing that I ever canned, and I'm curious, if you are a canner, what's the first thing that you ever canned? And if you are not currently a canner, I would encourage you to try this. This is a very simple recipe, but this is a very good condiment to have on your shelf. It's very versatile. It's great with sandwiches, on salads. We use this in our tuna salad that everyone loves. You could use this with any kind of like roasts. There are so many things. I mean, you could literally make a like salad dressing using this as a base. So many uses from this one thing. And much cheaper than buying in store, because I will tell you that there is sweet pepper relish that is sold, and this is why I started making this. And the jar, I want to say it's smaller than this, and I think back then it was $6 or $8 for a jar. And I'm sure it's more expensive now, and that was a store-bought thing. So here I have 24 jars, and if we even said $5 a jar, you're looking at what, $120? $120 worth of product right there just to put on your shelves. And I certainly didn't spend $120 on the ingredients for this. So that's all I have for canning. I thank you for joining me. Thank you for dealing with the noisy dogs in the background, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, today is the last real day of Zachary not being home, and this week has shown me all of the things that he does that I don't necessarily see, that he doesn't necessarily get thanked for, and I think he would see things, of course, too, if I were gone for a week. There's very much so like things he does and things I do and things we do together that make our home run. So I am happy that he's coming home tonight. It won't be until pretty much night, like bedtime, by the time he gets home today. Once he lands, it's like a 2-hour ride from the airport that he's coming into to our home. So the week is over, and I'm happy that I don't have to shovel coal and do all of the things that he does every day, and I'm thankful that he'll be home. But we did it, and it looks like it may be something that I will have to do again in the future, potentially. So I'm happy I got a refresher, because like I said, I used to be a single mom. I used to do all of the things on my own. So I feel more confident in having to take care of our home and our property on my own when I need to, and I feel thankful and blessed that I don't always have to do it. So I will try to catch a glimpse of a video of when he gets home tonight. But I thank you for joining me on my week. Certainly it has been a lot of condensed time, not as much time to devote to each individual thing and just kind of getting it done. So here's to an even better next week. Thanks, guys.